invite the next presenting company, Sapience Analytics. Let me invite Shirish. Shirish, are you there? Yeah. So Sapience is in the business of helping companies get their staff to perform and work better. Of course, Sridhar will tell you more about it. Over to you, Sridhar.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. And I'd like to thank NASSCOM, first of all, for this opportunity to present to the panel. What Sapience is about is transforming work efficiency. And what we've seen is there's no product of this kind globally. So if we file for patents, both in US as well as in India. Sapience essentially delivers you 15 to 20% more work output from your existing team without requiring any change in process. So I'll talk a little bit about the business need, give you a quick overview of Sapience. So this is a full sales pitch, but I'll stop there and then respond to questions. Sapience has been founded by 4 of us. This is actually our 3rd company. So our first 2 companies in outsourced product development were acquired by Symantec, and the second one by Symphony Services, after which we scaled them to a pretty significant size. So based on our experience with outsourcing in general and managing large teams in IT and other companies, we had this product idea. We built it over the last 2.5 years, started selling early part of last year. We've got some good funding, and our board has some illustrious names from Google and also from Onward Technologies. Last year has been extremely good for us, so we've ramped up to more than 25,000 users, analyzed over 11 million work hours, and have received some recognition, including from NASSCOM, as well as Red Herring, and ET now has profiled us as a top 10 startup. This is a quick look at some of our customers. So as you can see, it's broadly in 2 spaces, IT, engineering services, KPOs, and pretty much any back office where people spend a substantial amount of time in front of the PC. And, the big names are all on top, but we started at ground level. So all of our initial customers were small and medium enterprises with about 250 to 500 employees. And we scaled up the ladder. So Zensar, KPIT, for example, have rolled it out across several thousand employees. In the past quarter, we signed up Wipro and Tech Mahindra for deployments of several thousand people. We have other names in engineering services like Geometric, Infotech, and so on. And we've also signed up a number of global subsidiaries. So BMC Software, Ideas, which is a subsidiary of SAS, NewView, which is again a US-based company. So all of these companies have begun to adopt the product. We have almost 25 plus pilots in progress, including at 3 other companies which fall into India's top 10 IT companies. So what does the product do? So if you look at how people work today when they come into offices, we come in, we start working, we juggle a number of tasks ranging from a primary function, reports to be written up, emails, that takes up a lot of time, meetings both scheduled as well as unscheduled. It's understood that you'll take breaks, for lunch and so on, browsing, internet browsing, games and so on. And at the end of a long day, everybody in the IT business especially is complaining about work-life balance. The challenge though is that it's not about time in office, it's about work time. That's number one. And secondly, especially with the 24/7 workday patterns that are happening, it's very hard even for an individual to really know, okay, I worked long hours, but how much have I really contributed? And did I spend my work time optimally? This is a very fundamental challenge that all of us face. If there was a way to give this visibility at a user level, how much time was on work, no matter when you work, and how much was on important stuff, it begins to give me a sense of self-control that I can start managing my time better. So this is a user level problem, and there are companies in what is known as employee monitoring space that solve this problem, okay? We, however, have leveraged it at an enterprise level. So what I mean by that is, what's the business need for an enterprise? It's about the fact that the way we manage teams is, these are the deadlines. This is the work to be done. We all agree, let's get to work. We all know only 20% of things get completed on time. 80%, you get new dates and you move on. The challenge is that even though people are putting in a lot of time and effort and it's so critical to the business, it's completely hidden. And therefore, all we can do is track outcome. Is it done, not done, okay, new date, oh, it's slipping too much, I need to add more people, I need to bring in my chief architect to troubleshoot the problem and so on. The real problem is at the input. A lot of effort leakage is happening without people realizing. As you have several 10,000 people across the globe, several buildings, you have an idle time happening in pockets which is hard to spot. And finally, there are distractions. I mean, 95% of people are extremely motivated. Okay, they want to work hard, but they have distractions that they don't realize it themselves. And all this adds up for the business. Timesheets are a waste of time. So the approach we've taken with Sapience is if you have to solve the problem, you have to have visibility into output. The only way, if you measure, you can fix it. So therefore, it begins to transform time, effort from the ground up, from a self-realization guided by the business and guided by managers. How does that impact output? If you look at where output comes from, it's three parts. One is capability, and all of us go out, hire great teams, give them a good environment. That's your built-in capability. And in any team, we have superstars, we have people who are average, above average, and maybe a few who are inexperienced or need to ramp up. What if collectively you begin to find with Sapience that the average daily effort is less than what you expected, significantly less? What if you find that top 20% are exceeding your expectations? Typical scenario. But the mid 60 and last 20 are not there. If that moves up by 10%, that's going to impact output, everything else being constant. The third angle to this is, what if I can start focusing more time on core activities? The efficiency of my work time improves, contributes another 5-10%. That's going to impact output. Simple things, you start having visibility, you start having output gain. The last and the most important differentiator for the product is we built it for the enterprise. So it's not about tracking an employee, it's about delivering the big picture to enterprises. And enterprises are complex. You have matrix organizations, you have different activities being done in different groups. So dealing with all of those issues. And at the same time, respecting and protecting the individual's privacy. Impact with Sapience is high and very quick, unlike other everybody focuses on process improvements. Great. But here you get facts quickly and things start improving rapidly. So before Sapience, yes, we all track outcome, but we have no way to manage effort. With Sapience, you literally in the first 45-60 days, once you see the baseline, once you see it's way below reasonable behavior. Remember, it's not about getting everybody to put in 8 hours every day, but if it's not even reasonable, you begin to have gains of 30, 45 minutes on average per person per day. Second is at team level, at business unit level, you can start focusing significant amount of time on key activities. Emails and meetings are time killers that are growing substantially in every business. That begins to show up and you can try and manage it. And lastly, right staffing. So, every business has this challenge that at budget time, everybody wants more headcount. And after that, it's purely a battle of who can sell a case better. If I'm a manager, my utilization is 70% as seen from facts, it's going to be very hard for me to ask for more headcount. So net, all of these numbers add up and you can get 10-15% is virtually guaranteed with Sapience, but it could be as high as 20% or more depending on how effectively you manage the data. At some point, it's your capability as a manager as to how do you leverage this. So how does all this happen? So Sapience is about automated enterprise effort, but if you want automation, enterprise view to be accurate, you have to start at the personal client level. And very quickly, what we capture automatically is time on PC, applications, files, and time on meetings as sourced from Outlook or any calendaring system. We then map it to 2 dimensions. What is it that you're doing? Are you doing documentation, engineering, communication, meetings, and so on? 10, 12 activities that are the big chunks of activities. And for what? Are you doing it for your prime project or function? Are you doing it for some company stuff, but not really intrinsic to your project, or is it personal? And anything that's personal is not going to be visible to the company. That's the Sapience guarantee. Okay? So how does Sapience distinguish between work and personal? Very simply, every enterprise has 50, 60, 90, 100 business apps. Could be desktop apps and business apps. So for those applications, you create a mapping saying these are work apps. All of that, it starts getting captured automatically. Then the user can come in and volunteer more. Why will he or she do it? hey, because I want to show my best face to the company. If I did work, I want to volunteer that. Once I volunteer it, it becomes sticky for me. I don't have to keep redoing it. So net, you move from 0% visibility to 90-95% visibility in a couple of weeks. And, that's enough. Additional 5% accuracy is not really required. When we take this data, so at the PC level, I as a user get a lot of information about what I'm doing each minute. But when it travels to the server, we say, what does the company care about? Just total time on work distributed across activities and functions. That's it. That's what goes there, and it starts getting aggregated and averaged.